Now, live on KBTX, the Brazos Valley's news leader. This is News 3 at 10.
The college town of Blacksburg, Virginia is in mourning after the murder of a 13-year-old girl. Police have arrested 2 promising Virginia Tech students in connection with her death. Bryan Webb has the latest.
Police say David Eisenhower abducted 13-year-old Nicole Lovell and that Natalie Keepers helped him dispose of the body near a North Carolina highway 90 miles from her home.
We're investigating all types of things, social media included. There were lots of things coming in and led us to a general area.
18-year-old Eisenhower, a Virginia Tech freshman engineering major and member of the school's cross-country team, is now charged with abduction and murder. 19-year-old Keepers, a sophomore engineering student, is charged with improper disposal of a dead body.
She was always the cutest little thing, you know.
Lovell's family believes she climbed out of the bedroom window of her Blacksburg, Virginia apartment Wednesday after blocking her door with a dresser. While Nicole was missing, her father posted this message to Facebook.
Nicole, honey, if you see this, if you're out there, you can come to me. I'm not mad at you. I'm worried about you. Your family's worried about you. Just come home.
Lovell's disappearance sparked a 4-day search that included 1,000 members of Virginia Tech's Corps of Cadets. Police haven't said how or why she was killed. Bryan Webb for CBS News.
Nicole's body has been taken to a medical examiner's office for an autopsy. Well, turning to weather now, it was an unseasonably warm day. I can't believe it's the end of January. It doesn't feel like it outside. Chief Meteorologist Shel Winkley joined us now. Shel, it was 83 at my house today. Where has weather gone? Or where has winter gone, I should say?
It seems like wintertime's broken, right, Clay? Give it a few days. You'll be singing a different tune here in a bit. But let me show you those afternoon highs across the Brazos Valley. 80s on the map on this 31st day of January. 80 here in Bryan and College Station, 82 from Brenham down to Hempstead. Other spots in the Brazos Valley, upper 70s, plenty warm, but plenty comfortable to get out to as well. By the way, today's record high is 84. We just missed out on that. We were way off the record low for today, which is also the coldest temperature ever recorded in Bryan and College Station history. 67 years ago, we started this day at 3 below zero. No temperatures that cold in the forecast, but give it a few days. We've got a couple cold fronts headed our way, which means by midweek, it's feeling more like the month of February and not quite feeling these 70s that we've had on hand for the few days. We've got a dense fog advisory in the southern side of the Brazos Valley. Some patchy fog possible in the morning with temperatures in the 50s to low 60s. We'll get you caught up on all the changes headed your way this week. Those details here in just a bit.
All right, thank you very much, Shel. Police need your help catching a man who stabbed another man outside a popular College Station nightclub this morning. Police say the assault happened at 2 o'clock this morning in the parking lot of Hurricane Harry's right after the club closed for the night in the 300 block of College Avenue. The victim told police he'd been stabbed by someone he didn't know after he got into a fight with him. The suspect left before police arrived. College Station police say the victim is in fair condition at CHI St. Joseph Hospital in Bryan after his friends took him there. Anyone with information regarding this case is asked to call CSPD. The Bryan Walmart on North Harvey Mitchell Parkway was closed most of the afternoon following a power outage. Vicki Ryan with Bryan Texas Utilities tells us the store lost power a little after 1:30 after a transformer fuse failed. BTU crews had to bring in a crane to fix it, and they were able to restore power after 7 o'clock tonight. The store manager tells us they are reopening this evening. The Texas A&M Forest Service says a large grass fire that broke out north of Amarillo is now 95% under control. The fire sparked near the Canadian River just after 2 p.m. yesterday. Fire behavior diminished greatly overnight, and that allowed firefighters in the area to control more of the blaze. The Texas A&M Forest Service estimates it has burned 1,700 acres so far, but that they hope to have the fire 100% contained sometime Monday. An evacuation notice has been lifted today for residents of Eula, Texas, after they were displaced by a wildfire that burned over 1,700 acres east of Abilene. A spark from an electrical pole is believed to have started the blaze and forced residents out of their homes and to a local high school. Several homes were verified as destroyed this morning, and one person was hospitalized for smoke inhalation from that fire. A&M Forest Service tweeted that forward progression on containing the blaze had been slowed, but that the fire is nearly 100% under control tonight. Containment operations have been handed over to Eula Volunteer Fire Department this evening. And we are less than 24 hours away from the official kickoff to the 2016 presidential election, the Iowa caucuses. The first votes will offer more than delegates. They will determine which campaigns can turn support into turnout. Weijia Jiang reports from Waukee, Iowa.
Presidential candidates are crisscrossing Iowa to seal the deal, begging their backers to caucus on Monday night.
Monday night could be an historic night for this country.
Democrats Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are separated by just 3 points in the latest poll. Martin O'Malley is in a distant third. If his supporters jump ship, they could be the deciding factors. On the GOP side, Donald Trump has a slight lead over Ted Cruz.
Commit tomorrow night to come out and caucus for us.
On the campaign trail, his tour bus got stuck in the mud and needed a tow. Meanwhile, Trump campaigned with the Reverend Jerry Falwell Jr., trying to win over evangelicals. They are one of the most reliable groups to caucus.
If we can come out of Iowa with a nice victory, it's so important.
Volunteers are also giving a final push, canvassing across the state.
Hey, this is Ollie from the Bernie campaign. How you doing?
And making tens of thousands of phone calls. Political experts say this late in the game, volunteers should not be trying to change people's minds, but making sure already committed voters actually show up on caucus night.
You have to be in line by 7. If you're not in line, your vote will not be counted.
Bad weather threatens much of the state, but the candidates are hoping it holds off until after the caucuses. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Waukee, Iowa.
Now that the 3 violent inmates who had escaped from a California jail are back in custody, the focus will now turn to how they were able to saw, crawl, and climb their way out of a maximum security facility. 2 of the inmates arrested in San Francisco after breaking out of jail more than a week ago are back in custody in Southern California. They were returned to Orange County early Sunday. The department posted video online of each man wearing handcuffs and foot shackles being escorted back into a lockup. The 2 were arrested Saturday after a civilian reported seeing a parked white van that looked like the one authorities said had been stolen by the fugitives. The 3rd escapee turned himself in on Friday. New research suggests a simple nutritional strategy could help reduce the risk of autism. News 3's Whitney Miller spoke with researchers with the Texas A&M Health Science Center who say the helpful product is already on the market.
In the past 2 years, these Texas A&M researchers have been hard at work experimenting with neural stem cells to prove that a simple prenatal treatment and prior genetic testing could reduce the risk of autism.
There's a particular genetic association with certain types of autism, and in fact, the defect is in building what is a natural product that is already available on the market.
That product is carnitine, and high levels of the supplement can be found in red meat or whole milk.
We can look at a system in a real brain where we see neural stem cell defects, and we find that addition of this natural product actually reverses these defects.
These doctors believe women who don't ingest enough of the supplement could be placing their unborn child at risk. They say the earlier you start, the better.
When you have made the choice that we want to be parents now, this is a step we want to take, that is not too early.
Dr. Benkaida says the non-invasive treatment is as simple as it gets when it comes to risk management.
We are not talking about some sort of experimental drug that nobody really knows what the side effects are. People understand carnitine as a supplement really quite well.
While he does admit this treatment may not prevent all cases of autism, he says it could substantially lower the number of autism patients if addressed early on.
If we just look at the social cost of autism today in the United States alone, this would be billions of dollars potentially.
At Texas A&M, Whitney Miller, News 3.
Both researchers say the next steps would be for clinicians to set up a clinical trial to test their findings. As far as parents already linked to having the mutated gene, the doctors believe taking these preventative measures significantly reduces risk. Coming up, a woman from College Station is joining some of her fellow Texans in an Iowa town to support the Ted Cruz campaign.
I'm Chessa Boucher at Reed Arena. Coming up later in sports, we'll have a recap of the A&M game against number 2 South Carolina.
If you're loving these mild temperatures, get them while you can. We've got about one more day before cooler air arrives in the Brazos Valley. We'll talk about a couple cold fronts on the way this week. That's up on the other side of the break.
As the presidential candidates make their final speeches before the Iowa caucus, their volunteers are in high gear too. Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro takes us behind the scenes to where Ted Cruz volunteers, including a local College Station resident, live and work.
This place is an old college dorm. Volunteers, many of them from Texas, bunk up and then get to work. Susan Patrick and Rebecca Fox are living like college co-eds in Camp Cruz.
It's a very simple dorm, but you know we just don't need much.
The ladies are best friends from Texas, working to help Ted Cruz win over Iowa voters.
You know, it's just so great to be working in a campaign for someone I believe in so much.
Patrick and Fox meet up in the stairwell at 7:45 each morning to pray and work until 9 p.m., making calls at campaign headquarters and canvassing throughout the city.
I walked up to one door and said, "Howdy, I'm from Texas, I'm a volunteer." And the gentleman swung the door open and said, "Well, get in here out of that Iowa cold."
They left their families at home and are traveling at their own expense, even helping keep the hall organized and decorated.
It's so fun, right? So we're a little past college age.
Maybe.
Okay, girl. Okay, more adventures for us.
But their enthusiasm can't be matched.
We're cruising to victory. We're cruising to the caucus.
News 3 weather from the Pinpoint Forecast team. Brought to you by the Bank and Trust, local bank, local bankers, and now local weather.
You may head into work tomorrow, get to that desktop calendar, pull off January, get to February, and be tempted to pull a couple more because of this warmer weather. In fact, if you're going to call today an average day for the 31st day of January, 62, 63 is typically where we top off about 3, 4 in the afternoon. Here we are at 10 o'clock at night. It's 65 degrees over at Eastward Airport. Relative humidity is running a little high, starting to collect a little bit of cloud cover. And one difference from this afternoon, the winds, they're coming down. And those lighter winds mean that we may start tomorrow morning, which can patch into dense fog across the Brazos Valley. Other 10 o'clock temperatures still a few degrees shy of 70 up there in Madison County, around Madisonville, 61 in Conroe, upper 50s across Houston County, upper 60s in southern Grimes County, just a degree shy of making the upper 50s though when you get out there around Cameron and to Milam County. So the past couple of days we've been running warm. It's been pleasant outside though. For this time in January, it's not too bad to find a couple 70 and 80 degree days. Tomorrow, you get one more. Highs about 79, 80 for most of the Brazos Valley. Then it's a couple shots of cooler air. And while temperatures will be coming down and look drastically different, this isn't going to be weather, quite frightful type weather, but it is going to be a lot cooler, and it's going to have you reaching for the warmer clothes once again as we get through the first couple of days of February. Here's the next weather system headed our way. You've got a lot of rain and snow making a mess of California. Rain spreading across the desert southwest. You've got some pretty heavy snowfall across portions of Colorado as well. This system's going to be tracking across the Texas Panhandle tomorrow and then to our north and east by the time we get to your Tuesday. Now tomorrow, that's what's going to help drive in the first shift of northerly winds, which brings in some slightly cooler air, yes, but mainly drier air. Then Tuesday, as we're on the backside of the system, that's where the cool down really comes. So let's walk you through this from start to finish. In the morning, upper 40s across our northern counties to mid 50s for our southern counties. Again, at the least, some low clouds stretched across the area. At the most, some patchy fog. So if you do have time to get up early in the morning, get out the door a couple minutes early, may not hurt, especially down across the southern side of the Brazos Valley. Cooler air reaches the western and northern side of the state tomorrow. We've still got some breezy south winds in here, 10 to 20, gusting 25. So highs are looking to be in the upper 70s to low 80s once again. We'll start in the 50s, make it to the mid 60s by about the 10 o'clock hour. Sunnier skies by the afternoon. Then into the evening, we start collecting these clouds once again as we work a very small rain chance into the forecast, which we'll show you here in just a bit. But here's your next warm day, anywhere from the mid 70s across our northeastern counties to just about near 80 degrees for most of the Brazos Valley. Here's your morning fog. Again, by about 10 o'clock to lunchtime, we burn those clouds away. In the evening, the clouds build back up, and just after midnight into the very early hours of Tuesday morning, as that northerly wind shift comes in here, it's a 20% chance for a few showers. Not looking for a big rain chance here. Any of that rain chance should be gone by the time you wake up Tuesday morning. Sunshine is back, and then we start working in the cooler air. Again, on Tuesday, it's the 60s. Some of us still may make 70 degrees there, Clay. Then Wednesday, that's when you really feel the colder air arrive. We're talking about lows back in the 30s, near freezing with highs barely making the low 50s by Wednesday and Thursday. Still a lot of sunshine. So again, this isn't going to be a big Arctic blast, but when you're talking about highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, it's a bit of a shock to the system, and it's going to start feeling more like wintertime once again.
More like wintertime, get the coat and blanket out a little bit more. We've had a little bit of extremes this week to start out, and back to normal pretty soon.
Nice little break out there, but you got to get back to reality soon.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Shell. We really appreciate it. Well, coming up, DreamWorks' Kung Fu Panda is back in theaters. See how it fared and which films rounded out the top 3 at the weekend box office.
You're watching KBTX News 3, the people you know, the news you trust.
Star Wars and The Revenant are still hanging near the top of the box office, but both were beat out this weekend by the latest animated sequel from DreamWorks Animation. Kung Fu Panda 3 has kicked its way to the top of the North American box office with a respectable take for a January release. The film marks the return of series stars Jack Black and Angelina Jolie as kung fu fighting animals. The Revenant stayed close to the top as it continues to pick up award after award. It's been nominated for 12 Oscars, including a much sought-after Best Actor award for star Leonardo DiCaprio. The Force remains a strong force within the 7th entry in the Star Wars saga. The Force Awakens rounds out the top 3 at this weekend's box office in its 7th week in theaters. It's been nominated for 5 Oscars, including visual effects and Best Original Score by series composer John Williams.
The Aggie women look to hand number 2 South Carolina their first loss of the season. Highlights and post-game reaction next. Plus, the Broncos and Panthers arrive for Super Bowl 50, and we'll talk Aggie men's hoops after Saturday's big win over Iowa State.
Sports is presented by Allen Honda, corner of Southwest Parkway and Highway 6. Allen's got your Honda. From the KBTX Sports Center, News 3 Sports starts now.
A week from tonight, either the Broncos will have their 3rd Super Bowl title or the Panthers will have their 1st, but there's still a week of hype before the action. Today, the teams arrived in San Francisco for Super Bowl 50. Cam Newton wearing the same pants as Clay Falls is today. You can see the game right here on KBTX next Sunday. Pre-game coverage begins at 11. Kickoff is at 5:30. 2 weeks ago, the Aggie women's basketball team gave second-ranked South Carolina all they could handle before falling by a single point. Today, 10th-ranked Texas A&M has a shot at revenge. The Gamecocks come in as one of 2 teams still unbeaten in women's college basketball. The teams battle back and forth in the first quarter. South Carolina up by as many as 7 early. Tiffany Mitchell, the steal and layup as the visitors are up by 5 after 1. But A&M dominates the second quarter, going on a 15-0 run to take a 10-point lead. Courtney Williams scores 8 straight in that stretch. She scores 13 in the game. Aggies up 31-25 at the half. The Gamecocks answer to start the third by outscoring A&M 12-5 to regain the lead. Great interior passing, and Asia Wilson finishes with 2 of her game-high 27. USC goes up by 6, but the Aggies get a little momentum back to end the third. Chelsea Jennings beats the buzzer. Aggies down 3 headed to the final quarter. They keep that momentum early in the fourth. Aggies score the first 7 of the quarter, capped on the break when Jordan Jones finds Courtney Walker to make it 54-50. Walker leads the Ags with 23 points, but South Carolina scores the next 10 to take the lead, and they wouldn't give it up. Mitchell helps seal it with the top of the key 3. She scores 20. South Carolina escapes with a 70-63 win. Chessa Boucher wraps it up from Reed Arena.
Exactly 2 weeks ago, A&M lost by 1 point to South Carolina in a bizarre fashion, but the Aggies haven't forgotten.
South Carolina lacks a little bit of depth, but when they're able to play 2 post players 38 and 37 minutes, that tells you the conditioning of those 2 kids. That's why they're the 2 best in our league and the 2 best tandem, I think, in the country.
Chelsea Jennings, Courtney Williams, Ariel Howard, Rachel and Kyla, they did all they can with those 2 monsters. But like I said, credit to them. You know, that's their strength. They're post players, and you can tell. But as far as, and when we did try to double them, their guards did a good job of hitting the open shot.
We knew kind of coming in this home court, so it's going to be rowdy. They're going to be excited. We're going to be excited. So, I mean, you just really have to take what the defense gives you and play off of that. And I give all the credit to my teammates. They really kind of fed me the ball, and we just really played off of each other well this game.
Our defense created some easy offense for us. Tiffany Mitchell got a couple of steals and got some
clean looks at the basket, and, she just needed to see the ball go in, feel the ball go in. And I think it just jump-started, what we were able to do in the half court.
They just outplayed us this game.
I'm not disappointed in our team at all. I thought we did a lot of good things in this game. Now, can we get ourselves off the mat again, go back and start playing good basketball again?
The Aggies look to rebound as they go on the road to Gainesville this Thursday to take on the Gators. At Reed Arena, Chessa Boucher, News 3 Sports.
Thank you, Chessa. Here's a closer look at the numbers that are pretty close as you'd expect for such a close ball game. The Gamecocks shoot a little bit better from the field overall. They out-rebound A&M by 4 and have 1 fewer turnover. The Aggie men got back to their winning ways in the first of 2 big weekend showdowns at Reed Arena, beating number 14 Iowa State 72-62. When looking big picture at the NCAA tournament, the Iowa State win is the best one on their resume so far this season. Could give the team a boost going forward.
It just gives us an extra boost of confidence. We know that we're one of the better teams. We let one go in Arkansas, and that was really tough, having to let that go, then come back and playing a tough team at Iowa State. So this just boosts our confidence, and we feel a lot better about ourselves, and we got to continue to build on this and stay focused and not get bored with winning.
It's a grind. We got a lot of games left. We got, I think I put 10 games left on the board, 5 at home. We just got to keep getting better one day at a time and stay healthy and make good choices on the court and off the court, and we'll be all right.
No game for the Aggies until Thursday when they visit Vanderbilt. Then South Carolina comes to Reed Arena Saturday. NBA tonight, the Dallas Mavericks beat the Suns 91-78.
Cody, after that, you got me wondering, where did Cam Newton get those pants for his trip?
Straight from a zebra dipped in gold or something? I don't know. Those are wild.
Tough loss for the Aggie women today, but both they and the Aggie men have really good kind of streak going
great.
And pretty strong this season. They could have played outside. It was so warm today. It could have opened up and gone outside Reed Arena.
That's right.
Pretty nice outside. We'll be right back after this, but first, a quick look outside from our Live Eye Network.
Foggy conditions possible tomorrow morning if folks are going to be out and out the door early. Temperature-wise, we're in the 50s. Then we head towards the 80-degree mark for one more day. Get it while you can if you love it. It's a little bit cooler, still very mild for the Tuesday forecast. Then we get into Wednesday. We're talking about waking up to the 30s, highs in the 50s. By the way, just 2 days away from good old Groundhog Day. What do you guys think? Punxsutawney Phil, see his shadow, don't see his shadow? What's your guess?
I think he sees his shadow this year.
Sees his shadow?
Longer winter.
Longer winter, okay.
We've had no winter at all, so whatever that one is, I forget what.
Sees a shadow, looks for a winner.
Place for bets right now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. That's all of our time tonight. More local news tomorrow on Brazos Valley This Morning or anytime on our web channel, KBTX.com.